of all the things that EMFs have been tied to, cell phone use, phone against the head, and brain tumors is where the strongest evidence lies. And that makes the most sense because you have this device that emits high-powered electromagnetic microwaves because they have to reach the cell tower. It's much easier for the cell tower to reach a cell phone. And then, of course, you're putting it right next to your head, so it's blasting at the highest strength right through your sensitive tissue. There's magnetosomes in there, and neurons, and all these things.
Yeah, my mom's tumor was on the same side of her head that she held the phone to. And yeah, this is one of the canaries in the coal mine, so to speak, that we have now, is seeing glioblastoma and other kinds of brain tumors increase in the last 20 years. Cell phones, early 90s, but they got really more high power and high power and high power. And then we see this increase. There's a little bit of a latency period, and then we see this increase in brain tumors. So it's really concerning, and at younger ages too. Like my mom was 73. Okay, she was kind of old, but we're seeing an increase in younger age groups too with these brain tumors that really have no business being there. So it's a big alarm bell.
Well, what I want to also quickly highlight is glioblastoma would be the glial cells of the brain. And a blastoma is very interesting because it's actually what forms during regeneration. If you were to take a salamander or a frog, cut off their leg, a blastoma forms on the stump. It's this massive, undifferentiated cells. And then the electromagnetic signals that are running through the body, the different voltage gradients, are what inform those cells to take on specific functions. Is it muscle? Is it connective tissue? Is it bone? If it's near a sensitive organ or something, it can even turn into that. It's, the field of morphogenetics is really interesting, but that is governed by changing electromagnetic signals. They've done a bunch of research on this. And so to have a blastoma form in the brain on the side of the cell phone is showing these changing electromagnetic potentials, and effectively the cells dysregulated, started to mutate a lot. That's how this, at the end of the day, that's how this works. And so there's a lot of science over here, and there's a lot of science here and here, but people haven't linked them together yet in their minds, even though it's not like you're even jumping that far. It's just like a nice stroll from one to the next. The higher frequency waves will dissipate out faster, and a lower frequency wave will not attenuate as quickly. It can travel further. And that's why you need less 2G towers than you need 3G. You need less 3G towers than 4G because it has a lower frequency wavelength. And so people may be wondering, why are these 5G towers everywhere, literally on every block? It's because it's a higher frequency and therefore it attenuates out faster. They need to pump more energy into those to cover a smaller radius. And the reason why they do that is because it's a higher frequency, it can carry more information in its waveform. But that's why you see 4G towers, not that often. It's like every hillside or something. But the 5G ones, if you live in a place with them, it's like every couple blocks you see them, and they're smaller. They don't need to be as large. You talked about the increase in the past 30 years. That's a big change just in the past, not even 3 years that we're seeing.
Yeah.